Hi there guys, my name is Dracolos and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at how to get through the Regicide quest. Now there are two quick things to mention before we get into the main bulk of the quest guide. The first thing is that all of the instructions that I'm going to be speaking over the video I will also put in text format on the screen over the recording of me completing the quest. So if you don't want to listen to me drone on for the next half hour, all the instructions will come up on the screen and you can just mute me and follow along with the video. Also we will go through how to get a couple of the items before starting the actual main quest. That's just so that if you're playing an Ironman like I do, you'll know how to get these items if you didn't already. So with that out of the way, the requirements are the Underground Pass quest complete, 56 agility which can be boosted, and 10 crafting. The rewards for this quest are 3 quest points, 13,000 agility XP, 15,000 coins, access to the Elven Forests, access to Port Tyrus, ability to wield a dragon halberd, and the ability to get elves as a slayer task. First item that we're going to look at is the rope. This is easy to get. Just come to Cathby and trade Arhine as he sells it. There are other NPCs too, but this is the guy I use. Just make sure you have 4 or 5 pieces, as you can sometimes lose them on the agility checks. Next we're going to look at the strip of cloth. This one threw me a little bit as I thought it would be a bit easier to get. I thought you just buy it from a particular NPC vendor, but you don't. What you need to do is just come to the sheep field at Lumbridge, shear 4 of the sheep, then go to a spinning wheel. I use the one in Lumbridge Castle. Spin the wool into balls of wool and then head to a loom. Again, I use the one at the farm just south of Falador, and you will be able to turn your 4 balls of wool into a strip of cloth. Now the very last item that we're going to look at before we actually start the quest is the limestone. Now this can be mined, I believe, in the Caridian Desert, or if you have completed Shades of Morton, you can just do as I am on screen right now, run down to Morton. I'm using the shortcut unlocked during the In Search of the Marek quest. And when you get to Morton, just talk to the guy who runs the general shop and the builder's shop, and if you trade him you can buy limestone from his builder's shop. Don't buy the limestone bricks, they won't work. It needs to be just the rough limestone. However, you do only need 1. If you used Serum 208 on him during the Shades of Morton quest, then he'll be ready to talk to. If you didn't, then you'll need to either take or make some Serum 207 or Serum 208 to use it on him to be able to talk to them. So now we're going to start the quest. I will quickly mention another item that you need that's very easy to get. You'll all know how to get a hold of it. Is between 5 and 10 pieces of coal. You won't need this straight away, you need it later on in the quest. You'll see later on that I have it in my invent the entire time. Turns out you don't need it till much later in the quest, so you can leave it in the bank for now. What will happen is when you have completed Underground Pass, about 15 minutes later in game, you will get a messenger find you, and they will give you a message from the King of ARDOUGNE. And once you've got that message, you can go and talk to him and start the quest. You'll want to make sure for this first part of the quest that you've got your ropes that we bought earlier, and that you have a bow with regular arrows. So this means a short bow, shield bow, or composite bow, but nothing like an ogre bow, crystal bow, anything out of the ordinary like that either uses specialized ammo or no ammo at all. And you'll want to make sure that you have normal arrows for that. Now they can be bronze through to runes, so long as they're not brutal arrows or ogre arrows, or again any kind of special ammunition like that. Once you talk to the king, you want to head to West Ardougn. We're going to be running through the Underground Pass, so if you've done Underground Pass recently and you can remember the route, you can probably skip ahead in the video, but if it's been a little bit of time or you're not 100% sure of the route, I will be going through it in this video. So once you have reached the Underground Pass, just running through West Ardougn, you want to take the same route as before, so go to the southern fork and climb over the rocks, and then when you get to the end you want to talk to Koftik by the campfire. He will give you a piece of damp cloth as he did in Underground Pass. You will wrap it on an arrow and then light it by right clicking it, going up to the ledge to the northern side of the campfire and shooting the arrow at the bridge to knock it down. Now you'll see that now I'm over the bridge, I head into the north room and pick up the plank. You actually don't need to do this. I'm not sure why, but a lot of the guides that I've seen online say that you need to pick up the plank, but you don't. The traps that require you to use a plank to go over them are only used in the Underground Pass quest. You won't be going past them during this quest, so I'm not sure why so many guides say it, but don't pick up the plank, it is a waste of your time. What you do need to do is head to the southwest and cross the gap as we did in Underground Pass. Make sure you use the rope on the old spike that is right in front of you, not the one that's across the other side. If you fail like I do in the video, then just follow the path. You'll see it first. I'm not exactly sure where to go, but I do figure it out, so just follow the path that I take, climb back up. It'll put you back at the beginning and you'll have to knock the bridge down again to carry on, but as we know how to do that now, that shouldn't take you very long to do at all. So once you get across the other side, you want to run to the south, and when you get to the narrow part of the passage, you will need to click to climb over the rock, and you will hit the grid puzzle that you will probably remember from Underground Pass. Now, you will have the same solution as you did in Underground Pass. It'll be the same route that is safe to cross, so if you still have a screenshot or a notepad document or anything like that, or a note written down on an actual piece of paper, although I know that's rare these days, then you can use that for reference because you will have the same solution. If you did Underground Pass a long time ago and you can't remember the solution, you don't have any screenshots or anything like that, then unfortunately you're going to have to do a little bit of trial and error figuring it out again. As you can see, I could kind of remember the solution but not 100%, so it took me a little bit of trial and error, and then once I figured it out I got across no problem. So once you've done that, you just want to make sure you pull the lever on the other side to open the gate. Once you get through the gate, you want to run west down this corridor, checking the wall for traps as you go. You can disarm them fairly easily. You might fail occasionally and get hit for a bit of damage, but it's a lot less than what you get hit for if you just brazenly run through and activate them all. Once you get through to the end, you'll see this central chamber. You just want to climb down the well. You don't have to worry about the light orbs or anything like that like you had to in Underground Pass, so you just want to climb down the well. And then when you appear in the next room, you just want to continue running west to the prison cells, enter the southeasternmost cell and dig the pile of mud at the back of the cell. So once you get to the other side, you'll need to run west towards the ledge and click on it to cross it. As you'll see in the video, I try clicking to the side and it doesn't work. You need to click on the ledge right in front of you, and that way you can then cross it. Once you're across the other side, you have the wooden maze with spikes underneath it in front of you. If you just follow the path that I take on the screen, you'll get across that with absolutely no problem. And then you want to head to the southwest and crawl through the tunnel in the wall there. Once you're through the tunnel, you just want to head through the doorway in the north wall and then just follow the path round to the main door from Underground Pass quest. Now that you're through the door, you need to head to the central area of these wooden bridges, so just run across them towards the monks of Zamorak, and then once you get to those guys, just head up to the big central building where the climax of Underground Pass took place, and click on the well in the center. You'll see there it looks a bit different now. There's good people there rather than evil people there, and the well has some blue light coming out of it. Just click on it and that'll take you to the Elven lands. Once you click on the well, you will be transported to the inside of a cave that is in the Elven lands. You just want to run to the west out of the cave, and then once you get out of the cave, continue running to the west for a few paces until you're confronted by an elf. Once you're done talking to the elves that confront you, you want to run to the southwest, jumping the leaf trap. If you do fail it, sometimes there's a bit of a bug where you'll get the death animation. Don't worry, you've not been killed, it just does that sometimes for some reason. You'll stand back up and be able to climb out of the trap with no problem. Jump the leaf trap, and then you want to head south and then west past the massive blue mushrooms and over the sticks trap. These ones are incredibly annoying. Sometimes you can end up failing them 5 or 6 times in a row. Don't worry, it's not your agility level unless you are below 56 and you haven't boosted. Just keep persisting with it and eventually you will get past them. Once you're past there, you want to follow the path to the southeast, and while you're here, activate the lodestone. At this point in the quest, I would recommend killing one of the nearby rabbits, looting the raw rabbit meat and cutting a log from one of the trees to make a fire to cook it on. This is because in a little while you're going to need a cooked rabbit to bribe an NPC, and there's loads of them around here. Weirdly enough, the campfire that's already there you can't actually cook on, which is a bit inconvenient, so you will have to cut your own logs to make a fire to cook it on. But it's really easy to do while you buy this lodestone because there's tons and tons of rabbits running around, and it'll save you a bit of time later on. So now that you got your cooked rabbit, you're going to want to head northwest up the path, making sure to jump over the leaf trap when you run into it. Once you've got past the leaf trap, just head north and cross the log over the water, and then talk to Lord IORWERTH in the camp. Once you've spoken to Lord IORWERTH, he will ask you to go talk to his scout, who is helpfully right next to the lodestone. So rather than running down as I was about to do, just use the lodestone and talk to the elf just next to it. When you talk to him, he won't trust you as you have no sign to prove that you are on his side, so you will have to run back up the northwest path, jumping the leaf trap and crossing the log to the camp. Talk to Lord IORWERTH again, he will then give you a pendant, so make sure you have an invent space free for that. And then you can lodestone back to the scout once again, talk to him again, and this time he will trust you. So once he trusts you, we can finally start helping him. The way we do this is head to the west to where the blue mushrooms are, and you will see some footprints or tracks. If you click on those to examine them, and then head back to the tracker, as apparently your character doesn't know how to get through dense forest. Once you talk to the tracker, he will teach your character how to go through the dense forest, at which point you will then go back to where you found the tracks, climb through the 3 pieces of dense forest, and kill the guard that attacks you on the other side. Once you've killed the guard, you want to head to the north, passing the tripwire. These can be quite tricky to click on, and almost all the time I do them, I fail them, so expect to be hit for some damage and poisoned. And then once you go through some more dense forest, you want to run west and then south and talk to the general in the camp there. Once you finish talking to the general in the camp, before you leave, make sure to grab a couple of the barrels that are lying around. The reason to pick up 2 is you need 1 for this quest, and you will also need another one for Morning's End Part 1. Even if you're not planning on doing that straight after this quest, it's still worth picking it up now, as it saves you a bit of time when you're getting ready for that one. Once you've got your 2 barrels, you want to lodestone, head up the path northwest towards Lord IORWERTH again, making sure to jump the leaf trap and cross the log over the water. Once you get to him, talk to him, and he will give you a book, and as long as you have an invent space free. Once you get the book, read it, and then lodestone again. Head south from the lodestone to collect some tar in the barrels. This is in the Poison Waste Swamp. The area is quite small that you actually click, so it may take you a couple of attempts to actually get it right, but once you do, you'll fill your barrels with tar. While you're here, you'll want to pick up some of the sulphur off the floor and grind it. You just have to, I believe, right click it and select the grind option. Once you've got all these items, you will want to head to any furnace of your choosing. For the purpose of the video, I use the Edgeville one as it's right next to the lodestone. Make sure that you have your limestone with you and use it on the furnace to get quicklime. Now with the quicklime, the sulphur, a barrel of tar and the book in your inventory, make sure that you get your 10 pieces of coal out if they were in your bank, and head to the Port Sarim lodestone and run over to Rimington to the Chemist's building. Once you make it to the Chemist's building in Remington, you want to talk to the chemist himself using chat options 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then head outside to the large metal barrel looking thing called the fractionation still. Once you get there, use your barrel of tar on it, and then this is where things get a little bit tricky. You will have a interface come up with some valves and some gauges. You want to use the valve on the bottom right that is labelled as the tar valve by clicking on the right hand side of it twice. Once the pressure gauge is within the green and red, you want to click the right half of the pressure valve, which is the valve on the bottom left. You only need to click that one once. Then use the add coal button in the top centre to add coal and keep the heat gauge in the green. Make sure to add it in small intervals of around 5 seconds. As you can see, I mess up a little bit, but I was able to salvage it. So long as you keep it balanced and the bar at the bottom is progressing, once it's full you can then close the interface. I'm going to leave the clip for this at normal speed rather than speeding it up as I have done with previous clips, and I will use annotations on the screen to show you exactly what I'm doing because this bit can be a little bit confusing. You can do this a second time with your second barrel of tar because the item that is produced is what is needed for the Morning's End Part 1 quest. I only did it once here, as I will be doing it again when I make a Morning's End Part 1 quest guide. But if you want to get it out of the way, you can do it twice right now and keep the second item in your bank ready for when you do the quest. Now that you have your barrel of naphtha from the still, you want to quickly pop round to the general store in Rimington and buy a pot if you don't already have one on you. Once you've got that, you need to grind the quicklime that we made earlier at the furnace into the pot, and then use certain items on each other in a certain order, which I will make sure to put on the screen to make it absolutely clear which ones go with which. Firstly, you need to use the ground sulphur onto the barrel of naphtha to create naphtha mix. Then use your pot of quicklime on the naphtha mix, and then use the strip of cloth on the now named barrel bomb. Once you have done this, you can head back to the elven lodestone. Now that we've got our barrel bomb, we need to head back to the catapult that we saw earlier just north of the Tyrus camp. This means heading west from the lodestone back through the dense forest, then heading north over the tripwire and through the second lot of dense forest. When you see the catapult, you'll see the shirtless guy named Tyrus Guard next to him. Use the cooked rabbit that we acquired earlier on him. He will then go and take a break, and you can use the barrel bomb that we've constructed onto the catapult. Make sure when you click it that you are clicking onto the catapult and not the catapult lever. Once you've done this, you'll get a small cutscene, and you can return to Lord IORWERTH using the lodestone and running northwest method that we've done a couple of times already. Once you've spoken with Lord IORWERTH, he will give you a piece of paper that is proof of the deed that has been done and tell you to return to Ardoughnne to talk to the king. So do just that, teleport to Ardoughnne either with runes or with the lodestone teleport and head to the king in the castle. When you approach the castle, you will be confronted by another elf who will tell you that things aren't quite what they seem and tell you to read the note. When you do, you'll find out a little bit more of the lore behind these quests. I won't spoil it for you. And then what you do is just continue into the castle once you're done speaking to the elf and talk to the king to claim your reward. Well done, you have now completed Regicide and you are one step closer to that all-important goal of Plague's End and Prifddinas. Hopefully you found this quest guide helpful. If you did, then like and subscribe. I'll be putting out more in the future, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.